2018, I did a calculation, and we spent 6 months away from home because we were out in nature, we were hiking, we were swimming, we were doing all these things. So we were paying 6 months of rent that we weren't even there. We were just paying it to store stuff. We got into van life because of Danny's job. He's a travel nurse, so we move every 3 to 12 months to a different city, to a hospital that's in need of just nurses for just a little bit to get themselves back on their feet, and then we head off to the next city. And we were getting killed in apartment costs. So not only were we month to month, so that raises the rent, but we were paying non-refundable fees, we were getting moving companies, we were living out of boxes, and it was okay for 3 months, but we were just over it.
She found out about van life and then introduced it to me, and I was still like, that's probably too small for full time.
And then we went to Banff, Canada, and they were everywhere. It's like the mecca of van life, and we just saw how livable they are, how easily they can maneuver from city to trailheads, and it was just the perfect solution.
So I bought it while we were on contract in Seattle. And while we were in Seattle, I was like, well, we aren't heading home until December. And it was a couple months prior to that. And I was like, I do want to get some of this big work out of the way that I can do now. Turns out they have something called a tool library. You ever heard of that? It's awesome. So it's all volunteer based, and for like, I think it was $40. I donated $40 and I got a 1-year membership to a tool library in Seattle. They had a couple of them. You can go there and you can borrow any tool you want for a week, and they even had real good power tools. It was really cool.
We stayed at my sister's house, so they allowed full access to their garage to store our tools, as well as we had a roof over our head during the build. So it couldn't have happened easier.
So we love Trent and Allie's layout, and that's what this is all based off of. And then instead of having the shower over there, we tip that out. We do gym memberships for that. I work at a hospital, I can shower there. And we just made it for more storage. Plus we have to do the cat box. So we tweaked their design. They have a really good one and we love it. And like she said, we really can't say that we would do anything different. It's after 7 months, it's really, really good layout.
Hi, we are Lindsey, Danny, and Van Life. I'm Lindsey,
Danny.
Is Danny, and we live in a van named Bruce.
So what we picked up was a Ram ProMaster. It's a 2018 3500 extended on the 158 wheelbase. It's been good to us. It is a big boy. And here in LA, where we're at right now, it's tricky to park sometimes, but otherwise it's fantastic for 4 seasons. So come around, take a look. We've got all-terrain tires that we just upgraded over the summer. We ended up getting stuck. We went to Descend on Bend, which is a really cool van gathering, and we got stuck within being there for 5 minutes. So we had bald stock tires. We threw on the ATs. They're fantastic. We upsized it a little bit. We've got windows that we added. We bought this Bear, and we went with the CR Lawrence windows. It's really nice. This thing opens up for ventilation, and we noticed that rain was getting in when I was building it, whenever it was drizzling, and you would just open the slider door and it would drizzle down. So you just picked up one of these little gutters, you just stick it to the side right above there. It's just like some vinyl, works good. Right here is access to the propane. So what I was told is that with having it in the center of the van, that to get it filled at a propane place like a gas station, they would actually have to crawl under there, and that they wouldn't do it. Some guys would and some wouldn't. So I heard that you can upgrade and put a little spout or whatever you want to call this thing right here, to where they can just come here, hook it up, fill you up just like a gas tank. And that's the 2 monocrystalline panels. I went with Renogy, which seemed like a pretty good brand. They had a good sale going on, but it's 300 watts each and ran in series. This is the garage, and it is packed full right now. We are 4 seasons, so we have snowboards, we have sleeping bags, backpacking gear, all the tools, the barbecue pit, hose to fill up your water, a nice table for the projector or anything else, bikes, ladder, awning. Went the cheap route. It's actually pretty awesome. And I mean, I could fit more. I mean, it's definitely looks packed to the gills. There's still more space, but we need to go through it. We're probably going to drop the bikes off after this year, get the kayak going. We're excited about it. Right now, we're maxing out the payload. Now, it's still, the engine can handle more because you can still tow with the payload maxed out. So with the 6-cylinder engine in this thing, it sounds like it's a lot at 9,400 pounds, but it seems to be doing fine. If you're going up a real steep hill, if you're going 2,000 or 3,000 RPMs, it's doing fine. If you try gunning it, you can hear it's working hard, but otherwise it doesn't feel like it's strained at all. So we'll get that eventually. 1,500 more bucks. Back here is a cell phone booster. That's the We Boost antenna. And then I just added an accessory light, which is great. This is another CR Lawrence window, and it's great because you can open and close it when you're sleeping and really help with heating and cooling. And then the water inlet here with the lock so nobody can tamper with it. This is where my electrical comes in. I haven't even hooked it up and used it, so I need to get that going just so we have it in case. And then when I added the all-terrain tires, and especially when I upgraded the size of it, this was rubbing, so I had to do a little modification. And the exhaust for the water heater and furnace.
Welcome to our home. For us, it naturally felt like home. Like, it's got the wood. It doesn't really feel like an adventure rig. It feels more like a home. Mint green is probably like one of my favorite colors. It was in our wedding. We did mint and peach and like the theme was like meant to be. It's actually the one thing that we get the most compliments on is that everyone loves the green. They love the color. They love the pop. And I'm just over the moon on how it came out. It's got a nice flow. It works perfectly for us and our lifestyle. We'll just start on this side. So we have a hanging closet with like, it's not like a full length mirror, it's more like a half length, but it's still perfect. I was using my phone as a mirror for a little bit, so this has been a major upgrade. Since we are 4 seasons ready, we have all of our coats in here. I have a few dresses. This is Danny's like get ready bag and his workout bag, and it's pretty much the place that we stuff stuff when we don't know where it's supposed to go. So it's been great. This is kind of an interesting cabinet. So this was meant to be our dry storage, but we don't eat a lot of dry food. We generally eat all fresh foods. So we have my workout bag, we have our wine cellar. We're running a little low, but it does very well. Some pancakes if we're feeling it, some nuts. We also have our We Boost. This is where we store this. This helps amplify our cell signal. We use T-Mobile, so finding good cell signal is sometimes difficult. And then open this bad boy up, and this is our refrigerator. This is our Dometic. Absolutely love it. It's the chest, so it goes all the way down. It holds everything that we ever needed. Went to the supermarket a few times, didn't think it was all gonna fit. It always does, so we love it. The only issue with this is that it can only be a refrigerator or it can only be a freezer. It can't be both. So as you can see, it's not on the floor. It's elevated, it's on slides, and we didn't want to have to bend over to have to get something out. It is a little bit higher for like someone that's shorter. I'm 5'6", and sometimes I really get all up in there, but for the most part, it works great. You're not bending over. It's on a 500-pound slide, so we never have to worry about it being too heavy. The biggest thing about this is that this refrigerator can be super heavy, so you have to make sure that you have the right clasp. And what these are these old school ice chest clasps, and it's worked great. We've never had any issues. It's never broke. And if you're looking to do this, make sure that you get these. I would also like you to notice these babies, and they're black cats. And if you haven't noticed, we've got 2 little black kitties on board. So we wanted to represent, saw them, bought 4 boxes, done deal dirty. Now, since we do have 2 cats, we need to have a cat box. So there's a hole that they can go in and out. I didn't quite know how that was gonna go, if they were gonna be able to easily jump in and out. They had no issues, handled like a champ. So we have the cat box. This is where we hold their cat litter, their cat food. This is also like brooms and things like that. We have our recycling. We have our trash with our biodegradable bags. We're trying to save the planet. So this is our laundry chute. If you pull this guy open, as you can see, we need to do laundry. And so we stuff all of our clothes in here. This is also a back access to our garage. We hike, we bike, we snowboard. So like, and I work out a lot, like all of our stinky clothes, you just don't want them like laying around, so we can just shove them in there, close the little hatch, and we're good to go.
So under this side bench, it's pretty cool. We got access to the water heater and the furnace. The thermostat's up here for the furnace, and it's an 18,000 BTU propane suburban heater, and it's been really good. We've actually gotten down to 4 degrees and it maintained fine. There's the water heater, we went with the tank. I know a lot of people go tankless. From what I've researched, I wanted to get one that we could just trickle the water and still get hot water and conserve. And from what I've heard, you have to actually have a certain amount of pressure on the instant water heaters for them to kick on. So that's why I went that route. There's an on and off switch right here for it. And then the water pumps down here, access to all the plumbing. I can shut off the water in an emergency. I can reach the power inverter and turn it off and on, which is nice because it's 2 amps an hour just for having it on, not even using it. And there's a gray water tank under the van. It's a 20-gallon. I have 30 gallons of fresh water under the bed and 20 gallons of gray water, which has the heater on it. So like I can hit this switch when it's below 30 degrees or freezing, and it'll just keep it warm, prevent from freezing to a block of ice, which is sweet. A couple extra switches here that we're not using right now, and shoe storage.
So this right in here is probably one of the most expensive things in our van. The Nature Head compostable toilet. It's pricey, and when Danny told me the price, I didn't know if I cried or if I laughed because he already ordered it, but it was worth every freaking cent. We absolutely love our Nature Head toilet. It has a back portion which has like peat moss or coconut husk, and that's where number 2 goes. And then the front is the urine diverter, and that's where number 1 goes. So love this thing. Highly recommend if you're looking to get a toilet into your rig. So this is our kitchen area. This is probably one of the biggest things that I had a part in, is I wanted to make sure that I had a big sink. We cook 90% of our meals at home, so I needed a place to store all my dirty dishes. And you know, after you eat a big meal, you don't feel like doing the dishes right away. It's just a good place that we can store it, so when we drive away, they're not going everywhere. And I love it. I highly recommend. We have not only a tap faucet, but we also have a filtration system. Now this thing was an added bonus. It was not in our original build, but this is our prep station. I use this and also the table behind us so I can cut my vegetables, then throw it on the oven. And it's just a nice little added counter space that doesn't always get in your way. You can easily fold it down, walk through, and live your best life. Down here is our cutlery, our bowls, our cups, our plates, silly pint. If any vanners are looking for nice, non-breakable things, silicone is the way to go. This is our cups. We have knives, utensils, things of that nature. So this is our big sink. Like I said, it takes up a lot of space. And then just like cleaning areas, cleaning stuff. These are like drying pads. We have some Ziplocs, our trash bags. So as you can see, we did the butcher block. We liked it. It's got a really nice, clean look on top of it. It's really durable. We sealed it, and it's been holding up to all the kitchen needs. So all the knifing and things like that, slamming food down, no issues. And if you flip this guy up, we have a 3-burner stove. We generally only use 2 because our pots are so big, so the configuration is a little wonky. Another thing to also consider, if you park on a tilt, all of your pots are going to go either back or forward. So that's something that you're going to have to learn to deal with, that we've learned to deal with. And just a little interesting tidbit about van life that you don't think about until you move into a van. Now this is probably my most favorite thing in the van, besides the catnaps, is our oven. Not a lot of vanners do ovens. This was something that we really wanted, mainly because we absolutely love pizza and it's our favorite thing in the world, but also it's a good way to heat up food. So this is my form of microwave. I can throw anything in there. It's done in a little bit. It's ran off propane. Danny mounted a 12-gallon propane tank underneath, so we've never had an issue of running out. And so this is our pot and pan storage. It is a really big drawer. I mean, it's bigger than most people get, but it does use some configuration. We have a cast iron, we have a big wok, we have a few pots and pans, and our cutting board. And then you just got to get them right in and it will shut. Although sometimes it doesn't always shut and you have to reconfigure. Now this is our dining table. This is an extension of this butcher block. So this was all one block and we just cut it and dealt with it as need be. It is on 500-pound door slides. I don't know why you would need it to be on 500-pound door slides, but it is, so we are prepared. This is also part of my prep station. So if I am cooking, I have that leaf open, this is up, and then this is open. So I can just constantly be pulling food from different places, putting it in pots and doing what I need to do. And it's just worked great. We've sat 4 people here and 8 and haven't had an issue. One person did have to sit on the bed, but it is fairly comfortable. We like it. It's just a little nice place to have a dinner. So this is our kitchen top storage. This is where our stasher bags go, all of our Tupperware, and then this is all of our spices. There is something that I wish we had. I wish we had a spice rack, because this works, but it's like you have to really like dig through it and find what you need. And I just wish that like my salt, my pepper, and things I use on the everyday is in the spice rack, but you know, first world problems. And then this is where we store our oils. This is where we have like my extra soaps and lotions and things of that nature. So all the tall bottles. And then it's also got like a little bungee to keep all of them from flying forward. You laugh, but this was like, we didn't get this right away. So like when we'd open it, we'd have to like hold it all so it wouldn't fall down. So this has been such an added bonus and I absolutely love it. We just added these baskets, but it's still like the collect all shelf. It's still where we put like little pads of papers and pens and things of that nature, especially when I'm working in bed. I can have like all my need tos and then they're in here so I don't lose them in the bed. It's just a nice little stash area and it's got the nice like brown that matches the countertop. Not much of like an interior designer, so this was the best I had. All right, this is our bed. It is a full-size queen. We went with it. It is a little scrunched. We could have modified the bed, but it fits fine. It's not an issue. But we went from a king to a queen, and I couldn't do a full. I couldn't do it. Like Danny like runs in his sleep and he punches and he does all these things. So we needed the biggest bed, but we live in a van, so we can't have a king. So the queen was the next best thing. We also have a his and her cabinets. This is a lot of space. Like I didn't know if all my clothes are fit, but they did. So I have like my workout jeans and these are socks, underwear. We have workout tops. These are like my t-shirts. These are more like my dress tops, sports bras, and jeans. And then Danny's able to do all this jeans and his shirts and his scrubs and everything fits. We did downsize a little, but for the most part, we are absolutely in love with the storage that we have for our clothes. I didn't quite know how I'd like van life. I didn't know how I'd like the small quarters. I didn't know how I'd feel about living close to the hospital, not really having a home. What does that feel like? Do your research. Like that's the number one key. Make sure that you look at all the van tours and really dig in. Okay, so you really like the shower. Do you really need a shower? That's a good question. We didn't need to because we're in the city so often and we only have 30 gallons fresh. How long is that shower really gonna be? What some people don't do, but we did, is that we moved into our van stripped. Completely empty shell for 5 weeks. We read that if you do that, you really find out what you absolutely need and what you absolutely don't. And that worked really well for us. Not only did it give us like a little boost of confidence, like, hey, it's not that bad, like it's actually pretty awesome, and we didn't have any amenities.
You can do it, you know? You just got to put your mind to it. Like she said, do some research, figure out what you do and don't want, which is one of the harder parts because you don't have any experience with this stuff.
You'll make mistakes.
Other people's words for it.
Yeah.
But YouTube is a good place to start, forums, and then tackle it. Just go for it, you know? Get a van, get in there, you can do it.
Hi.
You go ahead.
I don't know, I was like, ah!
She thought I was going to talk.
I know, we didn't know who was going to talk first, so.
And I love these handles.
Oh, I know. They're like my gem. I love my handles so much.
They are.
It was like an epiphany. Like we both like felt it. We were high-fiving.
Like, we can do this. And
yeah,
then we saw the price tag and we were like, oh my gosh. Brand new, that's a lot of money. It was